For 7 seasons of Kitchen Nightmares, Gordon Ramsay marched into failing restaurants across America, confronting clueless owners, exposing disgusting kitchens, and attempting to breathe life into dying businesses. Did these restaurants actually survive? Or did they crash and burn despite Gordon's help? Today, we'll uncover which establishments from the original 7 seasons managed to beat the odds and remain open today. We'll start with season 7 and work backwards. Chef Ramsay has encountered plenty of stubborn owners in his time, but Chef Pete of Pantaleone's must stick in his memory, even 11 years later. Back in 2014, Gordon headed to the Mile High City to visit a family-owned pizzeria in Denver, Colorado. Pete Fafalos and his wife Paulette had been running the business since 1985, and the owner wasn't convinced that Ramsay could help them turn around the declining restaurant.
Chef Ramsay was a kid when I first started cooking. I should know a little bit more than he does.
Pete refused to modernize anything, from the depressing decor to the huge, greasy portions of subpar pizza. Pete was clinging to his past success and still proudly displaying a sign boasting Denver's best pizza. It was up to Gordon to correct him on that one.
You just cooked me the worst pizza in Denver.
Any customers hoping for a slice of authentic Italian food on a Sunday or Monday would be disappointed. The restaurant was closed, and those hours were non-negotiable.
I want to watch football.
After shocking the owner with the results of a taste test, where his customers preferred store-bought frozen pizza to his own, Gordon persuaded the family to let him revamp the dining room and modernize the menu. He also gave the family a van, so they could finally catch up with their competitors and make deliveries. Pete appeared excited about making everything fresh daily, but would he keep it up? Yes, he would, and to this day, Pantaleone's proclaims that it's the best pizza in Denver. Only now, it really might be. With a Yelp rating of 4.1 out of 5, customers love the secret recipe pie crust and the friendly service they receive. But they can't admire the decor. 11 years later, Pantaleone's now only offers takeout and delivery, not dine-in. And while Pete has given in and started opening the thriving business on Sundays, his Mondays are still for football.
I love you, you old Brit.
In season 6, Gordon encountered his very own Greek tragedy when he visited the Seattle restaurant Yanni's. The family-owned establishment was struggling due to internal family conflict, especially between daughter Elise and father Peter, both of whom struggled with accepting criticism.
I don't think the man likes garlic.
Well, tell him to get the fuck out of a Greek restaurant.
Owner Peter and his family were losing $10,000 a month, despite rating their food 9 out of 10. Gordon didn't agree.
I love moussaka, but that is miles off. Moussaka. Moussak.
A quick look in the fridges revealed slimy vegetables, rotting produce, and moldy beef stew. But the chef and owner wouldn't take responsibility for any of it.
I fucking babysit you like kids, and you still fuck me. I don't need to babysit. If I want to babysit, I go babysit my granddaughter.
Chef Ramsay stepped in to modernize the restaurant's outdated practices, refresh the decor, and reduce the menu while smoothing over family rifts. After one of the most successful relaunch nights Kitchen Nightmares had ever seen, Gordon nervously, but optimistically, stepped away.
And I can't ever remember rooting for a family more than this one. Wow.
Following its appearance on the show in March 2013, Yanni's found its dining room packed night after night. Customers loved the delicious Greek dishes and homely atmosphere that the family created once their differences were set aside. They have achieved a 4.7 out of 5 rating on Google reviews, and now offer deliveries and catering for parties and wedding receptions. Remarkably, unlike most restaurants featured on Kitchen Nightmares, this family chose to keep Gordon's renovation design intact for over 12 years. This is a rare move in the series, as we frequently discover that owners hastily tear out Ramsay's changes after filming wraps, either reverting to the old decor or completely redesigning the space on their own terms. The signed menu from Chef Ramsay remains proudly displayed on their wall as a keepsake. It's awesome to see the restaurant, and the family, thriving a full 12 years after Gordon's sometimes fiery intervention. Here's to 12 more years. A couple of months earlier, another passionate Greek owner had created chaos for Gordon at the old hitching post in Massachusetts. Tom Caceres had planned to pass the business over to his daughter, Andrea, but didn't trust her or his staff.
That was the most stupid thing I ever seen in this kitchen the longest I've been here. Look, my way is the only way.
Instead, he continued to take charge, serving his customers bland and unappetizing frozen food, which he insisted tasted even better once it was thawed.
Rule number 1 when studying to be a chef: fresh food doesn't smell, taste fucking better once it's frozen.
Unsurprisingly, Gordon disagreed and reinvented the menu to include fresh Greek dishes, which would be served in the newly modernized dining room. Plus, the business would be managed by Andrea moving forward. It looks like that was a very wise decision, because the historic restaurant is still open today, though Andrea is no longer in charge. She ran the business successfully for 9 years before selling it in 2022. The new owners kept the restaurant name and all the staff. In early 2025, Redditor WeirdFish1995 visited the old hitching post. He captured photos of the interior, featuring the millennial gray color scheme that gained popularity in the early 2010s. He ordered a hamburger and fries. While he noted the cooking was good, he found the burger lacked seasoning. Offering a blend of traditional charm and revitalized cuisine, it still gets pretty good reviews online, achieving a 4 on TripAdvisor even since Andrea moved on. Over in California, Seki Cavaniaris was blinded by love when blonde bombshell Jennifer, 16 years his junior, walked through the door of his restaurant, Spin a Yarn. And she did spin him a yarn when she lied about her experience in the restaurant industry to get a job there.
She doesn't know what she's doing.
2 years later, the couple were married with a baby, and the restaurant wasn't doing well. Jennifer suggested remodeling and overspent the $350,000 budget, instead splashing out around $900,000. But the extravagant new decor wasn't drawing in the crowds, and neither was the food, which was once again a Greek tragedy. Ramsay questions the food and asks the server to inquire about where in Greece sake is originally from. When asked, though, he struggles to answer.
I'm from Kalamata. Kalamata, yeah.
To save the restaurant, and possibly the couple's marriage, Chef Ramsay streamlined the menu and created a prime rib special, which was carved tableside. The restaurant was successfully relaunched, with a little help from local hockey team, the Sharks, and Gordon was hopeful that they could overcome the financial challenges they were facing. Spin a Yarn had a difficult time in the years following Gordon's visit, but the business managed to hang in there, though the owner's marriage didn't. Unfortunately, during a 2019 interview with Brendan Taylor, Saki revealed that he and Jennifer are no longer married, even though they continue to work together at the restaurant.
Your partner was your wife?
My wife, yeah.
That's still a thing?
No, we kind of divorced, but we still have very close with us. She helps out.
Despite some mixed reviews, the restaurant remains open, with Saki running the dining room and Jennifer overseeing social media and mixology. They continue to use fresh ingredients and are proud to still be serving the prime rib that they are now famous for. While reviewers mention both Saki and Jennifer occasionally having a bad attitude,
Yes.
You full of shit.
Okay.
You fucking idiot. Get the fuck out of here. Pay your fucking bill and get the fuck out of here. Idiots.
and prices rising dramatically, the restaurant has navigated recession, pandemic, and even celebrated its 70th birthday in 2021. We hope it continues to thrive. Around the same time, Chef Ramsay visited yet another Greek restaurant that is still in business almost 14 years later. Greek at the Harbor in Ventura, California, was struggling with poor management and food quality when Gordon visited in October 2011. Owner Mikey refused to accept any help, even from his son Eris, and it's safe to say he was in need of a break.
He's been working 365 days a year for 17 years. He's just burning out from being here so long.
Food standards had dropped, and dishes were now made in advance, though some were served undercooked, and others were swimming in oil.
A taste of grease. Yeah, a taste of greasy.
But when he dug a little deeper, Gordon found out that Eris had announced at his graduation dinner at the restaurant that he wouldn't be working at the business, implying that it was beneath him. He had obviously changed his mind as he threw himself into waiting every table and dancing with some of them.
Finally, something edible.
Ramsay managed to bring the family back together and relaunch a modernized menu in a clean and vibrant dining room. By the time the celebrity chef left, Mikey was even considering retiring. Following Gordon's visit, regular customers complained about the new shorter menu and the uncomfortable wooden chairs. Mikey said in an interview with Brennan Taylor in 2022, more than 10 years after the episode of Kitchen Nightmares, that Gordon and his team painted over the murals on the walls that depicted Greece.
I have my beautiful mirrors. My artist, I paid $10,000 for that. And then all gone, or just pure paint.
Gone are the murals. Why have a mural of a harbour on the wall when you're sat in front of the harbour?
They paint the whole restaurant blue, and I have to repaint the restaurant. We have to pay another $10,000 to repaint again now. But
Mikey took matters into his own hands, changing the menu and much of the decor back to how it had previously been. And there were no big staff changes either. Mikey is still hard at work in the restaurant, and Eris is still bartender, server, and weekend dancer. The business is rated a mediocre 3.5 on Yelp, but something is working as it is still open today, almost 14 years after the episode was filmed. Warring Italian brothers tested Gordon's negotiation skills and his patience when he visited Luigi's in Anaheim, California in 2011. Luigi and his wife Grace had run the restaurant with Luigi's father until his retirement, when brother Tony stepped in to take his place. But the siblings struggled to get along from the very start.
There's more yelling and screaming.
You're interfering with my cooking! Get the fuck out of here!
And the food was far from authentic, with watery sauces and gritty seafood.
More tentacles here than there are in SeaWorld.
The dysfunctional family's regular fallouts drove customers away, and each other to the very brink.
I can't take it anymore! I can't take it anymore!
Grace.
Gordon got the family making traditional Italian sausages together to prove that they were capable of working as a team. And to drive the message of family unity home, he played them a message from their father, who they hadn't seen in 5 years, requesting that they all pull together. After a successful relaunch, Gordon hoped they'd put their differences behind them, for good. Given the heightened emotions and fiery tempers the owners displayed, it won't come as much of a surprise that things didn't work out for the brothers long term. But the restaurant is still technically open today. The business lasted for another 6 years, before closing following a family dispute in September 2017. Tony left the industry to become a janitor, and Grace and Luigi reopened the restaurant at a different location in the same town just 3 months later. It's rated a pretty impressive 4.4 out of 5 on Yelp, with diners enjoying the pizza and pasta served at the small strip mall site. Coming out of a coma to find your business has been run into the ground must feel like a nightmare. And for Mother Rose, it was all too real. Her 2-year hospital stay meant her son, Michael, was left to manage her New Jersey restaurant, Leone's. And he didn't exactly give it his all.
You watch the games on there?
Yes, sir.
Seriously?
Yes, sir.
But this is the main entrance, right?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
The kitchen was disgusting, and Gordon had serious concerns about the safety of some of the ingredients the chefs were using.
Smell inside. I don't want you smelling that. No, not with your state of health. I don't want you back in a coma.
Michael's mother and the restaurant staff feared he was too lazy to properly manage the business, and weren't convinced he would ever step up.
Chef Ramsay needs to kick Michael in the ass.
Michael!
When Gordon revisited the restaurant a year later, Michael proudly told him about the long hours he'd been working. But the staff didn't tell the same story.
He told me he was working so hard. What time's he coming in?
Comes in at 6:30. That's a plus for him.
Despite Michael's disappointing management, the restaurant remained busy after the episodes aired, and it's still open today. Reviews remain mixed, and Leone's currently has a 3.5 Yelp rating, which isn't great, but an improvement on its 2011 numbers. Unfortunately, Mother Rose passed away in April 2014, aged 64. Since then, Michael has been carrying on his mother's restaurant and her legacy with pride, and we wish him and the business luck for the future. In Season 4 of Kitchen Nightmares, the show featured Oceana in New Orleans, but the episode was so controversial that the owners sued Gordon Ramsay and the production company, not once, but twice for defamation. Whether they liked Gordon's advice or not, the original management team is still running their Cajun restaurant today, 14 years later. All the way back in 2010, Chef Ramsay met the Fernandez family, whose New Jersey restaurant was in trouble. When the owner, Antonio, retired and passed the business to his daughter and grandsons, standards slipped. Even the fresh lobster they served their special guest tasted a bit off.
Is he dead?
No, I think they're just sleeping.
He must be dead.
We keep a good eye on this.
A closer look revealed that the refrigerator was packed with a hoard of meat and other unlabeled and undated food. And as for the kitchen...
And the freshest thing in this kitchen is that pigeon flying around. And he's lucky he's still alive.
The waiters were dressed to kill, though Gordon thought that was more like overkill.
Somebody die? Did somebody pass away?
No one.
No.
Following Gordon's visit, Antonio's daughter moved to Florida, and one grandson took a management training role at a local chain restaurant. That left the other grandson, Jerry, to run the Spanish pavilion alone, until Michael returned a couple of years later. The brothers worked together until 2019, when Jerry left for good. But the restaurant is still in the family, almost 15 years after Ramsay's visit. Sadly, Antonio passed away soon after the episode aired, so he didn't get to see the success the brothers made of his legacy. There are two more Kitchen Nightmares restaurants that are still open, and they're both from Season 3, which was filmed in 2009. At Le Bistro in Lighthouse Point, Florida, Gordon was faced with a formerly trained chef who hadn't updated his style since he graduated. His frustration with the restaurant's lack of diners and mountain of debts was often taken out on his staff and long-suffering wife, Ellen.
Why are you doing that? You're going against everything we said and everything we did.
I'm sorry.
Where are you going? Get back here. You've fucked up enough tonight.
And his side gig, teaching a cooking class to local housewives, wasn't exactly going to plan.
Should it be smoking?
So that's okay.
The stubborn owner refused to take any responsibility for the problems at the restaurant, including his own lackluster performance in the kitchen.
We're both English, and we both studied in Paris, but there's one thing we don't share in common. I care about my customers.
When Gordon finally got through to the arrogant chef, they worked together to revamp the menu and revitalize the business. Chef Ramsay was full of praise for Andy's performance at the relaunch, and was told he was welcome back anytime. The bistro isn't just open today, it's thriving. Gordon predicted that Andy could end up with a Michelin star, and reviews from happy diners are so good, averaging around 4.5 out of 5 across the usual sites, which means that's not an unrealistic goal. In fact, Gordon should watch out, as Andy is now known for his signature dish. He serves a perfect beef Wellington. The restaurant has been open since 2001, and Andy's reputation keeps improving. We can't wait to see if Gordon was right and he gets that Michelin star. And finally, the last remaining Kitchen Nightmares restaurant is perhaps one of the most surprising. When Gordon visited Lido di Manhattan in California almost 16 years ago, he met Lisa Hemmett, a young owner with zero industry experience and just a business degree to rely on. As a 23-year-old, she purchased a successful restaurant and kept on the existing staff. But 5 years later, the dining room was very quiet.
You may have bought the restaurant at 23, my darling, but you're not running it. Grow up, Lisa, will you?
The food was either out of date, frozen, microwaved, or raw. And the kitchen was so dirty, Ramsay tried to shut it down, but was stopped by Lisa. When he invited customers to check out the unsanitary conditions themselves, an embarrassed Lisa hid in the bathroom.
Is that the kind of trick that they teach you in an honours degree? To disappear in a toilet like a precious princess?
And to make matters worse, she was dating one of her staff. Didn't she learn about mixing business and pleasure at college? Gordon gave Lisa intensive management coaching, reinventing the menu around a new concept, which turned Lido di Manhattan into a wine bar. When Gordon returned a year later, takings were up around 20%, and that was during a recession. And to his surprise, the boyfriend was gone.
He was out of here about a week after you left. Okay, I really followed your advice, I'm telling you.
I didn't tell you to fire your boyfriend.
Kind of.
But
while Lisa only partially embraced Gordon's new menu, she committed totally to the wine bar concept, which went down a storm with locals. As the business got back on its feet, she added more in-house events and corporate catering to the business plan. Things obviously went well, as she then went on to open another restaurant, a combined seafood and wine bar concept nearby. Lido di Manhattan has now been open for over 20 years, and it's safe to say Lisa is now an experienced restaurant owner. Two things stand out from this list. First, Greek restaurateurs show remarkable staying power. Second, despite Gordon Ramsay's interventions on Kitchen Nightmares, only 11 out of the 77 featured restaurants remain open today, a 14% survival rate. While this might seem low, it's worth considering the context of the restaurant industry as a whole. Restaurants typically face challenging odds, with about 60% closing in their first year and 80% shutting down within 5 years. Most Kitchen Nightmares establishments were already struggling significantly when the show aired, and many episodes aired over a decade ago. Given these factors, even this modest survival rate aligns with the difficult reality of restaurant longevity.